Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. Today, we pivoted. We were going to do Leprechaun 2, but we decided while it was fresh, let's go ahead and do the sequel, the 25 years later sequel, reboot, requel, Leprechaun Returns from 2018.
Did this ever go to theaters?
No. As far as I know, only the first two Leprechaun movies went to theaters.
Was this a Sci-Fi Channel premiere? I saw it at the end of the credits, a Sci-Fi original.
So it went video on demand December 11th, 2018, and then it had Sci-Fi premiere on March 17th of the following year, and then got DVD and Blu-ray in June. So probably a good plan by Sci-Fi. I remember when it came out, I immediately watched it on video on demand.
Okay.
Because I didn't know they were making it.
I felt like this came out longer ago, but 2018 is 8 years ago. I guess a little bit less if we're counting 19 when it came on TV. But
yeah, which gives me hope. Warwick Davis has said once his children or his son or whatever it is 18, he would consider going back to a leprechaun role. And I don't know how old his kids are.
His kids can play a leprechaun. They can be the spawn of the leprechauns.
Oh my goodness!
I don't know what size they are. To be fair,
I feel like they could be setting up for a Jason versus Freddy type thing between the Leprechaun and Chucky. I mean, Chucky's got his family. Leprechaun's got his family coming around. I don't know. I feel like there's something there.
I noticed this was a Lionsgate distributed film. Who owns the franchise and character rights to make future movies?
I don't know. I think Lionsgate does.
They put them all out on the same Blu-ray, I think, and they currently sell the digital bundle together.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a time frame on how long that deal goes. I think Lionsgate, they make everything now, don't they?
Feels like it. They got a lot of licenses.
Like they kind of came out of nowhere, and then now they own everything.
I think they keep expenses down if they make movies like this. But I will say, nothing about this movie looked outright cheap to me. It didn't look expensive, but I didn't think it looked cheap either.
I think the biggest gripe I have visually are the 4-leaf clovers at the beginning of the movie.
Are they? Is it something digital, like a overlay?
Yeah. When they show the death of the leprechaun from the first movie, and then when Ozzie spits up the somehow pristine 4-leaf clover,
it's magical.
After it, yeah. But it
magical.
It wasn't a magical one.
And it was not portrayed as one, no.
Why did they need to do CGI for the second one? It looked plastic. Go send your extras from the set out to a field, in a clover field, and have them mine through it looking for a 4-leaf clover.
They're so hard to find. I've never found one in an actual patch.
You've never found a 4-leaf clover?
No, I never found one.
Wow. What did you do as a kid? I played NES games, and I looked for 4-leaf clovers. That's what we did.
Occasionally, I would look for a 4-leaf clover. I never found one. They all had 3 on them, and
Well, worst case scenario, you take the 3-leaf clover and you rip one of the pieces to go to be 2 pieces. Then you have a 4-leaf clover. Did you ever do that?
No, I never fudged it. Too much work.
So this movie, I didn't hate it. Probably because I really hated the one before it, where Wormswoggle, or whatever his name is, played a weird-looking little leprechaun.
No, not remake.
It was like an Origins kind of movie.
Yeah.
It was the equivalent of Wolverine Origins.
Oh.
And it was awful. And I didn't finish it.
I may not have ever finished it either, yeah.
It's just awful.
Before I rewatched this, I was probably confusing aspects of that movie with this movie, so it was better than I remember. The Returns here.
Yeah, I can't say it's bad, but it felt just kind of disappointing. Like if I have to struggle to make it through a Leprechaun movie, then I feel like you haven't done your job. It's like a Chucky movie. Like if it feels long, that means you've either missed all the humor or it's just way too long of a plot. And I feel like this movie was a good 15 minutes too long.
Huh. What parts would you have cut?
A lot of the middle. I think part of the problem is they introduced too many people that they have to kill. And because it's a Leprechaun movie, it's not going to be some simple thing where 2 of them are screwing around in a bed and Jason comes in with a big pitchfork and just stabs both of them at the same time. Like, you got to have elaborate death scenes for each one. And I feel like this is, like, there's one too many guys in this movie.
So on the subject, I'm glad you brought that up, the cannon fodder cast, or the clover fodder, as we'll say. Do you believe most of the cast longer than it should be, are designed to make the audience either dislike them or to distrust them.
Well, one of my other points I had was that Warwick Davis had a charisma to him that I'm not sure that Linden Porco has. So you're kind of rooting for the Leprechaun in a lot of ways in all the other movies. And I never got fully behind Linden. So because of that, the fact that all of the rest of the cast was completely hateable also hurt the movie. Who are you rooting for? You're kind of rooting for Porco by default because Aniston's daughter is boring and trying way too hard.
And I'm on the record saying I thought she was the worst character in the first movie, the Tory Redding. So you root for Ozzie, oddly. I mean, even though it doesn't.
He's dead.
It doesn't go well
they
for him.
They kill him 10 minutes in.
15, but surprisingly, he's still around until the end, in more ways than one.
Yeah, and he's entertaining, but because he's dead, they really can't use him to help the plot. Not that I know what he would do with these characters. There's no interaction that's going to be had between him and all these girls. But I don't know. I feel like the characters are kind of lame. Pretty much all of them. The Leprechaun is fool's gold. And he's got moments where he's fun. And they do some fun things with him in terms of the CGI type effects that they wouldn't have done back in the day when it was more practical effects. Which would help, which actually helps in this movie. If this movie relied solely on practical effects, there's no one with charisma to carry it. But I don't know. Without giving too much away in terms of the rating, it's definitely mid. That's the best way I can put it. And I don't know that I would even say it's mid if the previous movie hadn't come out. I don't even know if I'd say it's mid. It'd just be bad.
Does it ruin the original for you in any way? Not that you can't still go back to it, but does it leave a bad taste in your mouth about stuff that you just really liked about the original that this one put it in a different light?
Oh, it makes me like the original more.
But are any of those plot threads, does it make you consider anything differently about the first movie? Leprechaun lore.
I consider this a splintered reality.
It is. Yeah, it has to be.
They retcon some things, but they don't make any of it so explicit as to like be pinned down by it. So other than a few references in the house, you would think that Nathan and Alex have been retconned out of existence.
Yes.
Which is not true, but it is if they do not exist. It was solely Ozzie and Jennifer Aniston which took out the Leprechaun in this movie.
So presumably Nathan is not the new girl's father. Lila? Is that her name?
Yeah, Lila.
Is her father still supposed to be alive? Does she say that?
I don't think they ever get to that. And here, this is going to get to something I was thinking about later on. There's implications in this movie about who the father is.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't catch that. If you're whatever you were throwing there.
It is implied. It is not stated. But someone recognizes this little girl. And somebody knew her mother. And her mother, after killing a leprechaun, stayed holed up in her house for the next 20 years, not coming out until she got cancer. Ozzie is her father.
No, ain't no chance.
Explain it.
They didn't think too much about that.
She was haunted by the leprechaun and stayed in the house for years and years and years on end.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Who else?
I just don't see it.
Who else?
I don't see it.
I don't see it, but I'm not saying it should happen. I'm saying, like, give another explanation.
They just didn't worry too much about it. Something got cut out of a script somewhere.
So in a roundabout way, what's her name? Lila.
Yeah.
Is almost a half sister to the leprechaun who was born out of Ozzie in this movie.
Okay, that part is really weird. The way the leprechaun is reborn, or how do you interpret all that? I haven't seen enough of the old movies, but I think that was a new thing, like a very alien way. James Cameron alien type of face hugger, chest buster, and all that.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's hard to say because the 4-leaf clover is pristine, right? Which has apparently been in this leprechaun for 25 years. And it is greenish water that comes out. So it is almost as if the leprechaun has dissolved into the water.
Well, been absorbed by the clover even, right?
It's unclear. And then the well is speaking to Ozzie, who for some inexplicable reason goes over to the well and sticks his head over it. That has got to be the stupidest thing that completely goes against everything they've established with this character. Who has plastic 4-leaf clovers in his car as good luck charms.
So the one thing I gave the original movie flack for is that they wrote the story so that the characters had to go to town twice, some of them. In this movie, Ozzie has to go to the house twice, even though it happens in the same 10-minute span or 5-minute span. What is that really accomplishing?
You have to get the girl away from the well.
So she's in the house probably, right? When he comes back?
You can't have a witness to the well blowing up water up into Ozzie's face.
I thought it would have worked a little bit better too if it happened at night somehow. I don't know. It was a weird way to set up the return of the Leprechaun.
I think they did that because they wanted to have a really gory scene that you could see when he comes out of him. That's my guess. I don't know.
Because that's what we all loved about the original Leprechaun, the comical Looney Tunes stylings, and now he's chest busting out of Ozzie, one of our only legacy character from the first movie.
Yeah, I'd like to think that if they believed that this movie was going to do well enough to get a sequel, that Ozzie would have been a key character in this movie and then died at the beginning of the third movie.
And I'm not objecting to killing him off or anything else. It's just the way and the timing that they did it. It just doesn't carry the weight I think it's supposed to.
No, it's disrespectful to Ozzie, who in 10 minutes has shown himself to be a leading character worthy role. Like he's a lot different too.
Or he's going to be the mentor who makes some kind of sacrifice, which is still what they want for the movie. It's just he's already been killed off. So it's not like he can sacrifice anything. He just has to do the best with what he's got.
I think it goes a long way to proving my fan theory that he's the father, that she can see him, by the way.
Oh, it's not that he only appears to her. It's that they have a link somehow, biologically.
Well, it's both. He only appears to her, and why?
Okay.
Because of that family link. No one else can ever see him in this movie, and his body is still dead. It's not like it's a zombie walking around, which they do establish.
Well, it's weird because he when he dies, he has that Beetlejuice netherworld bit. He has to stay in the condition that he was in when his heart stopped beating.
Yeah.
He has to carry around his organs and tape them up with plastic wrap.
Which he lost when he went through the wall. But yeah.
I don't know about that bit.
So anyways, for his death and the rebirth of the Leprechaun, water shoots up in Ozzie's face magically. You can tell something's not good about that. He gets back into his car. He drives off. He doesn't make it home. No. He's got a big bellyache. It's a rumbling. It's a tumbling. It's a growing. And the Leprechaun busts out feet first out of his belly. Talk about a hernia. And then...
Doesn't the coin come first? Or let's see. What?
Actually, what happens is he spits out the clover.
Oh.
So he's spitting up water. The clover shoots out. Pristine and clean, by the way.
Yeah.
Nice little plastic look to it. And that allows the Leprechaun to be free, so to speak. And he busts out. And he does snag the coin, which apparently not been crapped out in the last 25 years.
You kind of wonder about that. What would be the odds of a man swallowing a fairly large gold coin? Is it likely to stay in him forever?
I don't know. And I wonder, so these are magical coins, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Is it the magical coin that fixed his brain over 25 years?
You think he's altogether different? I think he's believable. I think he's believable as just a childlike man who's gotten older and scarred by the world to some degree.
Well, they portray him as having extreme PTSD.
Okay.
Which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. He lived through quite the ordeal. But he used to believe in Martians and say crazy things and not be trusted to do anything. And he's an entrepreneur, got a painting company, got a taxi company. Again, it's implied, other than a few spots on the wall, that Nathan and Alex were never around. So we're supposed to believe that this guy and Jennifer Aniston could take out a leprechaun.
Okay. I had forgot. Do they get mentioned on that map that they find in the basement wall? Are Nathan and Alex on that?
For about 2 seconds on they don't mention it, but you can see a blip of it in the bedroom. They have their 4 names written on a wall somewhere.
Oh,
and then in the basement where they hid the map, you have the 4 names. And I think it does say Tory and Nathan, and then Alec, but then it's got Ozzie and a heart next to it. So
okay, there you go.
I think Nathan and Alex ditched town, and Ozzie just came and he took care of the crazy Tory. And eventually, one thing led to another. His brain got fixed,
Little wild romance at the old Montana house. Did we confirm they're in Montana?
North Dakota. Devil's Lake.
North Dakota. Oh, okay.
So I don't know. And they go on from there, and he's a ghost with funny makeup, and he's the mentor to his daughter.
He has good nonverbal communication with his face motions and all that.
He's fun. I wish they'd used him in the actual sequels back in the day, but alas.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's lots of retcons. I'm sure there's some more we forgot to talk about. There's no Warwick. There's no Aniston. You get Porco and Sprightler instead. You get Ozzie, who in many ways is wasted, though we still enjoy his time on screen. We talked about how there's generally no likable characters in this movie.
I think by design, they don't want you to be upset when some of these people die off, not like in the original Leprechaun, but they get Final Destination style kills. It's always wincing, like, ugh, ooh, sliced in two, or always between the eyes, stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think some of that is to protect Porco as well. They want people to cheer for Porco as the new Leprechaun, and I don't think we ever truly do. We're amused by him some.
Yeah.
But,
The most likable thing he does is probably the immediate pre-credits bit at the end, where he's a hitchhiker.
I like that.
He's just trying to ride with the chickens.
Yeah. Leprechaun down on his luck trying to get to the rest of his pot of gold, which somehow he knows where it's at. So I will say, for Nathan and Alex, what they could have done to fix all the continuity issues is just say that they got arrested for all the murders at the end of the first movie.
Yeah, even though it'd be tough to justify that with a minor, but yeah.
I mean, they're the only two that knew how to handle a gun.
All right.
So his little mouth wouldn't have helped him. Yeah, you lucky charms. I mean,
yeah.
What would have been real fun is they put them in a psych ward and he crossed over into a Chucky movie later on.
Ooh, or a Jason movie. Yeah, that could have happened.
The plot is basically Lila heads back to her mom's old house, which is now owned by Larimore University, and the fraternity sorority that's been around for about a month is greening the place up, so to speak, making it eco-friendly.
The Alpha Upsilon. Did I get that right?
Something like that. Oops, all over this movie. But you got Katie, who's the eco-friendly girl. You got Rose, who seems to be the leader of the group. You got Meredith, a heavy drinker. She is actually the most likable character in this movie in a roundabout way.
Well, she does
in a roundabout way.
She sells Lila out to the Leprechaun.
Well, when I say likable, I mean the least annoying. Her dialogue is the best. The script is horrible for this movie.
Which girl is Rose and which is Katie?
Katie is the girl.
Is it the black girl? Is she Katie?
Yeah, Katie's the black girl, because in my notes I have Katie and Andy install a solar panel.
Now, Rose is super annoying then. She's way, way echo crazy.
She's the one who formed the sorority.
Okay. And she knows the most, I guess, about the science aspect of whatever she's trying to do, which is, I don't know, grow vegetables or something?
Yeah, I think she's like an operations manager with no people skills. She doesn't know how to get her people to do what she wants.
She also has a secret that is not revealed until late in the movie.
Yes.
And then you have two men characters. We'll call them college boys, but they don't last long, and I don't remember their names.
Well, they wanted two handy people, so they brought over Matt and Andy.
So handy.
Yes. And Matt is a wannabe filmmaker who might have a crush on Lila, hard to say. And then Andy is Katie's ex-boyfriend, who they don't sleep together, but that's all they do is sleep together.
Yeah, she swears she won't sleep with him tonight.
Yeah. And Andy is very annoying. They don't even try to hide that. And Matt, I don't think they intend for him to be annoying, but he's got no charisma and no skills.
He runs the drone, doesn't he? Later in the movie.
Yeah, he's the one who records everything and does the drone thing. And sacrifices himself for the girls that didn't care.
He does try to do something noble in the movie. And I forget how he gets killed off. Do you want to remind me?
The Leprechaun takes over the drone and goes right into the neck.
Oh,
he stands there against the tree, waiting for it to come.
I remember him riding the drone. That was kind of funny. I don't know if it was far less amusing to me than everything Warwick Davis does in the original, whether he's in the car or the tricycle or the roller skates.
No, well, Warwick Davis was more of a Killer Clowns from Outer Space kind of theatrics. Like, it's all physical comedy. He's doing his own stunts. He's not actually on a drone, but he's not doing things like that. He's riding little cars that are funny.
Yeah.
He doesn't need CGI to carry a film.
Yeah, I hear you.
Whereas this one, they just use, it doesn't look bad, but they just use CGI tricks to have him flying on a drone or divide into 12 little leprechauns. And I will say,
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I like that. I like that scene. The mini me cons.
I don't dislike really any of the CGI that they use during the killing. I mean, like I said, the clovers they just looked bad, but everything else for a B movie that's really like it's an expensive made for TV movie, and I think it works for what it is. You're not going to a Leprechaun movie expecting to see the Avengers.
Ant-Man.
Leprechaun versus Ant-Man.
I swear nobody really likes those movies in the MCU. Like all three of them, they're just, oh yeah. They love Paul Rudd, but they don't care for the Ant-Man movies.
I thought the first one, if I'm remembering them correctly, was fine, other than the villain was lame. The guy who turned into MODOK.
Oh, that was the third movie, the Quantum Space.
I get them all mixed up. I liked parts of all the movies, but
yeah,
they're just a little small. What can you say?
You like Paul Rudd, but that's it.
Yeah.
Anyway, Leprechaun.
Yeah, so the most of this movie is the kids trying to fix up this house while the Leprechaun is asking all the wrong people where his gold is and slowly getting his power back by killing people. And people aren't quite putting two and two together. And they do that for about 45 minutes. And eventually he kind of reveals himself to Lila by cutting off the head of her giant panda bear. And he's tucked into her bed with a panda bear head. And she sees the decapitated panda bear. And then when she comes out from underneath, he's standing on their bed in his little leprechaun suit with a panda head.
So maybe I'm wrong here. I get the relationship between Leprechaun and Lila to be way more sexual than it should be. The kind of remarks that he's making and the way he's trying to grab her.
Well, I don't know. I think I'd have to go back and watch some of the other ones.
Now, the second one, he's all about finding a wife. Yeah, I'll give you the second movie, it's all about that. But
leprechauns are horny little creatures. And
I don't want to meet one, man.
They look for opportunity. I mean, they're kind of like dogs, like male dogs. It's like you just gotta be careful what you leave around the house.
They get the urges. It's either eating or sleeping or okay.
And he's weak. He's weak. He doesn't have his gold. The film doesn't really establish. There's obviously a connection between him and Lila, other than being his stepbrother or his half brother. And so she's on the bus at the very beginning of the movie. She has like a little horror dream of the leprechaun saying he wants his gold. Almost like she's gotten close enough that he can sense that she's there. He doesn't kill her while she's in the shower. He just flushes the toilet to use up the hot water. But he's not asking her about any of the gold. He's still talking to other people, and it's just like I don't know. I mean, her leg. It says she tastes like her mother, which he did. Fondle up the mother's leg underneath the truck when she thought it was Nathan.
How does he know?
I don't know.
She's descended from Tory Redding. Does the leprechaun just know because he's a leprechaun?
I mean, they share the same father, I guess. I don't know. Maybe the leprechaun got Ozzie's thoughts when he was inside the body. There's lots of things they could have done to explain this, but they choose to do none of it. Now, it wouldn't shock me if a leprechaun has a good sense of smell like a dog would. So, I mean, it could be something about smelling the biological link. But he haunted her in the bus. So there's obviously something going on there.
It's funny to me he uses his mimic powers to mimic the voice of her mother, but it's not Jennifer Aniston's voice.
No, I forgot to write the name down.
It's a lady they hired just to record the flashback voices of a character she never appeared on screen as. It's funny to me.
She did a pretty good job. She did a good enough job where I looked it up.
Okay.
To see if it was Jennifer Aniston.
All right. Boy, ain't that something? Jennifer Aniston couldn't even be persuaded to record 3 sentences of voice work for this movie.
Well, I doubt they called her.
Why not? Why not? She's not doing a Friends reunion anytime soon, is she?
No, she's probably making $1 million a week off of it still.
Okay.
But
yeah, all right.
I did read somewhere that she has come to appreciate the legacy and the popularity of the original Leprechaun. So at some point, maybe someone filled her in that there was 8 of these movies now. But
she better.
So Leprechaun kills a postman, kills a few other people. Eventually, he takes out most of these guys in fun ways. In some ways, there's not really a plot in the middle of the movie. You just have leprechaun scenes, killing people with drones and lying to heavy drinkers and things like that.
It's pretty gross. It's Final Destination stuff. I guess they had props because when they slice the Andy guy in 2, at some point, the Katie girl falls on him when trying to get to the fuse box or something.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, no, they have lots of dead body parts, and it's realistic enough where it is gross. I think, and this is where this movie just doesn't quite hit, and that is if they had pulled off that kind of stunt in the first movie, the setup for it happening would have been funny.
Yeah.
The dialogue would have been better. You would have liked the characters more. Like it would have meant something. This felt like almost like a Mad Magazine skit or Mad TV skit or Comedy Central version of that. But it looked good, but you don't care about the characters. The dialogue's horrible. It's so at the end of the day, it's not as humorous as it's supposed to be.
On that point, when we're talking about not as humorous as it's supposed to be, let me bring up my most frustrating bit with the attempts at humor. The environmentalist girl, Rose, right?
Yeah.
That's what we decided. She makes the comment when the leprechauns already had an interaction with the drinking girl, and the drinking girl runs out of the house and says there's a leprechaun, and Lila's already out of the house, and she says there's a leprechaun, and maybe there's somebody else there, the boy and the girl, but Rose makes the comment, maybe it's a crackhead who got a hold of the wrong stuff. It's one of my favorite viral internet videos, but it just lands so flat. Did you catch the reference there?
I don't know if I caught the reference.
That's the reference to the Crichton Leprechaun of Crichton, Alabama, and a news report that aired on their local affiliate in 2006. That was kind of a St. Patrick's Day whatever, but it really was Leprechaun in the Hood. And everybody was they were interviewing people and trying to ask them what they thought it was, the so-called Crichton Leprechaun. And one lady in her car says, it could be a crackhead who got a hold of the wrong stuff. And then Rose just butchers all of that. I don't know if I want to blame the director. I don't want to know if I blame the writer for putting it in the wrong spot. But man, how do you butcher a Crichton Leprechaun reference?
I mean, what we don't know is how many takes did they do.
Oh, and that was the best they had?
Yeah.
I would have called up that lady on the news report, got her to make a cameo just so she could make that bit.
Now, I think the best limericks also were early in the movie, which didn't help. So when he's busting out of Ozzie, he's like, there once was a lad they thought had died. His flesh had melted off his whole hide, but he escaped from the well alive and quite swell, and now he'll be killing in stride.
What do you think
That's
about
a nice start.
The leprechaun's able to rip the flesh off his face and put it back on? That seems to be a new thing, that he's taking advantage of his CGI powers.
Yeah, I agree. Warwick never would have done that, and could not have done that. Do you think the neither snow nor rain nor heat nor bloom of light can stop a leprechaun from a kill reference went right over everyone's head because no one understands the Postal Service? And the Postal Service does not do those things anymore.
Yeah, I know when it snows too much, they don't deliver for 2 weeks, right?
No, we get snow, and our road will be semi-clear.
Yeah.
And I'll get an email from the Postal Service at like 10:30 in the morning. Says, we attempted to deliver your package and was unable to. We will try again tomorrow. And I'm thinking, that's bull. You did not.
They don't put 4-wheel drives on those trucks, I'm pretty sure.
No. Oh, another reason why the drunk girl is probably my favorite character is I love how they do her death. She never has a come to Jesus moment. She is just upset that her friends don't understand why she made the deal. She runs off after Leprechaun says, I won't touch you. And then he kills her with the sprinkler systems. She's like, we had a deal. And he's like, I didn't say I wouldn't kill you. I said I wouldn't touch you. And I like the effect of the sprinkler hitting her in the mouth. And it's still running because it's magical at this point. And it's just shooting the blood out. It works.
I noticed the original interaction they had, the leprechaun's deal was, tell me where my gold is and I won't squeeze the life out of you, or something like that.
I think they cut away because they don't want you to know exactly what happened. And then she comes out saying, I got a selfie with the leprechaun, which she had before the deal, for what it's worth.
Yeah.
And it makes it plausible. You do kind of question whether or not she's going to turn. Then she locks Lila in the basement. But yeah, I think she's committed to the character. She's a heel. She's going to stay a heel. And they made the death was good, too. Like, a lot of the scenes were really gory, but you couldn't appreciate it. And this one, I think you could really appreciate that death. And you were really like, man, that's good stuff.
Now that you bring it up, she might be the best actor or actress in this movie, whatever her name is.
Eventually, we find out that a leprechaun cannot touch iron. And that's why fool's gold's a problem.
Is it a new weakness that was invented for this movie?
I don't recall it in the previous movies. I can't rule it out.
Okay.
I guess prior to that, we should say they found the treasure map, which we've referenced, and the ones who are still alive at that point find it at the pickup truck from the first movie.
Still there.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
How?
Nothing
Was that
changes in
Ozzie's
North Dakota.
idea to hide the gold there?
Well,
Not
if
a
the other
great
two
plan.
characters didn't exist anymore, but
Not a great plan, Ozzie.
no, it's not. That's where Rose reveals that she had found it months ago, and the gold had been funding the work on the house, and they didn't actually have a GoFundMe.
Yeah, that would have been plausible in 18. GoFundMe, crowdfunded.
Yeah, so there's about 20% of the gold left. The rest is in a pawn shop, which that's where the leprechaun was hitchhiking to at the end of the movie.
He
Bismarck.
says Bismarck. Yeah, how do we know the pawn shop is in Bismarck? Did she say that in her speech?
They say it in this scene right here because they say, let's go back to the gold place and get the money back. And he said it's in Bismarck.
Oh, I missed that detail. I was wondering why he wanted to go to Bismarck at the end.
Yeah, I caught it on the second viewing. I watched it a week ago after we did our last recording, and then I watched it this afternoon.
Okay.
I didn't catch it the first time. But I'm assuming Bismarck's pretty far away. I didn't actually Google map that one. But it's far enough away where a leprechaun's got to hitchhike.
North Dakota might take you a while to navigate. Never really. Not as big as Montana, but.
Yeah. Sure. So they basically, the last 20 minutes is them running around the house trying to kill the leprechaun without getting killed, and they blow him up.
Yeah, they kill him twice.
And the first death is better, actually.
But it is a better death the first time.
They trap him in a circle of iron objects, and they put the fool's gold necklace that she's got around his neck. So he's trapped, basically, almost like a mouse trap.
He's
and while he's trapped there, they go downstairs and they get clover juice, and they put it through...
From the clover patch out back. Whatever.
Yeah, and they put it in the shop vac. Well, it's infused clover juice, actually. And they put it in the shop vac and turned it in reverse, I guess, and they fill the leprechaun's belly with the clover juice. Not 4-leaf clover juice, but clover juice.
I wondered about that.
This really should work, yeah. And then maybe you got one mixed in. Who knows? And he blows up, and it's nasty. And they're like, we got to burn all the leprechaun parts or he's going to come back. He told us that early in the movie.
It is interesting. I'll give this movie some credit. They try to beat the leprechaun not with magic, but by science. And it almost works, but it more just slows him down, I think.
Well, once you blow a leprechaun up, you need a plan for what you're going to do with all the body parts.
Yeah.
They did not have a plan. 2 of them decided to go out and start a fire, while the third one, the one who stole the gold, is mopping him up, basically, making a big pile.
I guess they should have just set the house on fire right then, right?
Well, that's what I thought they were going to do, and then they decided they weren't. I guess they put a lot of work in that house. And I don't think they had time to do it anyways.
There's so much blood anyway, right?
Yeah.
Leprechaun guts, people blood.
So all his little parts start CGIing themselves into little mini-me's, and there's about 10 of them or so, and they kill the girl real quick. I think it's Rose.
She falls over onto a trophy or something. What is it, like a spade? A bronze spade?
Yeah, it's quite the death. This is after she takes one and bites its head off.
Because she was fighting poachers the previous summer. So those little things, they were no match for her until she tripped.
Then she tripped and fell on her spade. And I guess she screamed at some point because the other girls run in, and that's when the leprechaun kind of adds his little body parts back together again.
Yeah.
And then we have a kind of an anticlimactic final scene where they decide that gold is a conductor. So they put the gold around his feet. Yeah. And they electrocute it. And he's eventually set on fire. And then the house is set on fire. And they run out of the house eventually. They have to go through the basement through a window. It's a roundabout way.
Yeah, I don't know why that took so long. I guess the front door was blocked somehow. I don't know.
I guess. But the house blows up very significantly. I don't know what the fuel source was for that. And after it's blown up, you have the leprechaun blow up. I don't know what the source of that was.
Yeah.
And they get covered with leprechaun juice.
When he's a burning leprechaun, he's still more or less okay, is what it seems like.
Yeah, he's like the burning Chucky doll still walking through the house, or the burning Terminator walking through the house. You know, he's fine. But yeah, he blows up, and they get covered in leprechaun blood.
You hope they don't end up like Ozzie.
I feel like there's implications for that, but they don't really pursue it, and because the movie ends.
With a joke, actually. They who's the guy who shows up in the car? Was I supposed to remember him from something?
I think it was a policeman, wasn't it? But no, I don't think he was.
No, it was not a police car. I thought it was somebody from their college.
Maybe it was the college. Hopefully he takes them to the police station because they've killed all these people.
The girls try to walk off by themselves after Lila says her goodbye to Ghost Ozzie. And then Katie corrects her saying, oh, actually, we probably should take the ride. I'm losing a lot of blood because she's been impaled by something from the debris.
Yeah, when the house blew up initially, the first blow up. I think it blew up bigger. A piece of wood went into her back, and it didn't kill her, but it wounded her. Again, like the joke like that just didn't land.
Yeah. It's like, okay, we're trying to be funny, but our jokes don't land with the emphasis we want them to anytime we do them.
No, the only funny thing in the movie really is the leprechaun down on his luck. Down on his luck. Haha. Hitchhiking a ride with a chicken truck. Like, they could make a movie out of the leprechaun getting to Bismarck. I think it would have been a funnier
Follow that
movie.
Bismarck instead of follow that bird from
there you
Big
go.
Bird. Follow that Bismarck with Leprechaun.
Yeah.
Follow that gold.
And that's basically the movie.
One weird thing about the credits, there's no cast listing. They list the actors and the actresses, but they never have a full cast credit bit.
I didn't notice that. That's interesting.
Yeah. As far as who's who in the movie.
So, how would you have made this movie better?
Add Warwick Davis for one thing.
Well, all right. So let's stick with the plot.
Yeah.
The things that they could control.
Yeah. You are right about the clover juice being a better way to die than the explosion. I guess it's ironic, since the first movie opened with Mr. O'Grady trying to burn the house down and failing. Now we have the girls actually burning it up and blowing it up. But somehow less characters. I guess maybe you combine the two sorority boys, and then you'd have, I guess that's the 4 girls. I don't know that you need Katie in the movie at all.
I don't know if you need her at the end.
It makes the ending a bit more awkward, because you don't, instead of having a moment just with Lila and Ghost Ozzie, you have another character there who has no idea the significance of it. So that's kind of an awkward way to end it.
I think what they were going for is that Lila has finally made a friend.
Oh, I guess that was a plot. Okay.
The problem is that you don't like Katie, so that's not necessarily the friend that you want her to have.
I don't dislike Katie, but I don't have any reason to care about it either.
Yeah. So I think what I would have done, well, in terms of what they did, I would have set the house on fire by electrocuting the leprechaun first. Then he puts himself out, and that's when they do the iron and the clover juice. So he's blowing up at the same time the house is, fully on fire. I think that works a little better.
Okay.
What I really would have done is, instead of the leprechaun birthing himself out of Ozzie, once he inhales the leprechaun water, at that point, the leprechaun and Ozzie are fighting over his body, and as he's morphing into a leprechaun throughout the movie.
A little Tim Drake Return of the Joker action there, huh?
Yeah, and honestly, a previous Leprechaun movie, if I'm being honest.
Okay. All right.
Also, we established in that process, while he's trying to get his gold back, while maintaining control of himself, maybe even changing mid-sentence the Joker thing, is we learn that he is the father of Lila.
Okay.
So so Ozzie's motivation to remain in control is he's got to save his daughter from himself.
It would be weird, but it would raise the stakes between the character interactions.
And we'd have Ozzie the whole movie.
Yes, you would, instead of just Ghost Ozzie. You could probably do Ghost Ozzie at the end.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could do the thing at the end where does he purge the leprechaun from his system, and then you get the little twinkle in his eye. It's like, haha. And it's like, maybe there's going to be a third movie. But I don't know. I think this would have worked. And because you don't have Warwick, you don't really need a new leprechaun anyway.
Yeah.
You could use you could use what's his name? Porco. When you need a leprechaun reference, you could use it.
Okay.
But I think it would have been a better movie.
Well, it is interesting. I can see you experimenting with AI to bring this to fruition at some point.
Yes. All right, so how are we going to rank this or rate this?
Did we go with pairs of shoes in the last movie?
We did. And this movie did continue pairs of shoes, by the way. He still has the foot fetish.
It's not near as visible or memorable in this movie. So we could do gallons of clover juice.
Infused clover juice?
Yeah, it's kind of lame, but...
Yeah.
We do fake gold... Or I'm not going to say tampons. We didn't reference that. But when they try to fool the leprechaun with a pot of gold, they fill it with tampons underneath what's left of the gold. So let's just rule that out. I'm not gonna. That's not a visual I want. I wish I could get it out of my mind. Leprechaun and women's products there.
We could do retconned characters.
Whoa.
We got this kid on a mini bike speeding through the neighborhood, which may or may not have been anonymously reported earlier by someone who
may or may not
may live in
so
this house.
What about plastic saran wrap? How many rolls of saran wrap?
That could work. Or we could do mini-me leprechauns.
Nah, I like the saran wrap a lot better than the mini leprechauns. It's the best gag this movie had going for it.
Saran wrap it is. Rolls of saran wrap.
Yeah. I'll go first. I'm going to give it 3 rolls of saran wrap. It is recommended. It just barely. I can't. If I go any lower, I'm in the non-recommended. If you're a fan of the original, don't watch this first, but it at least lets you imagine what happened to Ozzie afterwards. And it doesn't answer all the questions, because, this is years down the road.
I think that's a good point. Don't watch this movie first, because you won't enjoy the good parts. You won't understand the Ozzie.
Yeah.
And you might not know that it's Jennifer Aniston's voice.
Or not Jennifer Aniston's voice.
Yeah. So does this movie make you want to revise your rating for the first movie, which was 4 pairs of shoes?
No, I don't want to. I told you I didn't want to disrespect the Leprechaun by splitting up a pair of shoes, so I can't go any more than 4 without making it 5.
It seems like there should be a bigger gap between 4 and 3.
I agree, but sometimes there is. This is a legacy sequel.
All right, and the spade falls where it lay.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go 2 I'm gonna go 2. Mostly because this is a Leprechaun movie. If this was just a random horror movie that I watched, I might go 3.
Mm-hmm.
But in relation to all the other movies, which again, I haven't watched 5 and 6 where he was in the hood, so I don't know what I think of those. But I didn't find any of the first 4 bad. At worst, I would put the first 4, any of them at 3. And this is not as good. So I'm going to have to go 2.5.
All right.
Maybe 2. But as a Leprechaun movie, it's a 2.
Well,
as a horror movie, it's probably a 2.5.
Let me at least caveat my rating. 3 rolls of saran wrap, but I bought the budget brand. And I bought it on the cheap. I bought the 25 feet rolls, not the 75-foot roll or any. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
3 cheap, small rolls of saran wrap.
The Leprechaun movies they're fun and they're odd, and there honestly is a pretty good consistency factor across them. Or at least the ones that have Warwick Davis, where you don't really have a big drop off, which is why they were able to make 6. But yeah, I mean, this movie it's better than a 2, but it gets a 2 just because of how it ranked or how it compares to the rest. That's the best way of saying it. And the one before this is awful. It's like a negative shoe or whatever we would use.
Oh, I'm sure. I don't know if I even want to bother getting around to that one. It'd probably be too much by the time we get through Leprechaun in Space to go back to Origins.
If we do Origins, I think we just read about Origins and talk about it. I don't know that I want to sit through. It could have been cool, but it wasn't.
That's always unfortunate.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's been Leprechaun Returns. I think we'll come back next week with Leprechaun 2 proper with Warwick Davis.
Yeah. The love story. A Valentine's Day special, most likely.
Now, the Leprechaun movies are fun, but they're all different. Like, there's no continuation. You don't get the same characters in the different movies. It's just a different aspect of a leprechaun's life, and it works.
Yeah. Whole lot of splintered timelines.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's 3,000 years old. It kind of works out.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Eat your Lucky Charms.
I did last week. Or Lucky Clovers. That was what we were leaving out. That was the name of the knockoff cereal.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.